Welcome to a yoga class. This is geared for people that might be suffering from back pain, but it'd be good for anybody. And if you have problems getting up and down off the floor, this video should be for you, because we're going to give options of staying seated in the chair the whole time, or if you want, getting out of the chair and doing some of these versions on the mat too. So let's go ahead and get started. So first of all, sit in your chair and try to come a little bit away from the edge of the chair. Move forward so that you have to sit up straight. If that bothers your back, then you sure may use the back of the chair if that feels better to you. But try to have a nice tall spine. And we'll just start by shutting the eyes down and just noticing where you are in space. Just notice your position. Feel your sitting bones in contact with the chair. And start to lift your head away from your sitting bones to straighten your spine, so lengthen your spine. See if your head is tucked forward. You feel like it's craned forward like so many of us do. Push it slightly behind you so that the ears are in line with the shoulders, which are in line with the hips. So one nice long line from your ears, your shoulders, and your hips. And then next, check out your shoulder blades. Are you hunching up towards the back of your skull like a turtle in its shell? Let's try to resist that and instead slide those shoulder blades down the back along the spine so they're closer to the waist rather than the skull. And then notice how your abs kind of help you sit up straight. Lift your chest towards the bottom of your chin. You can slightly tuck your chin if that feels better for your neck. And then we're just going to pause and talk about our breath. Notice how you're breathing now. Most of the time, we're only using a half or a third of our lungs. And in yoga, the breath is very important. In my mind, that's the main thing that differentiates it from other forms of exercise. So in yoga, we take a deep belly breath, deep diaphragmatic breath, sometimes called a three-part breath. So place one hand on your tummy above your belly button and the other hand on your chest. And with your next inhale, I want you to imagine that breath is going all the way down to your pelvic floor, and let that belly expand out as you inhale. The chest rises. And when you exhale, let the belly kind of collapse in and the chest gently falls down. So a nice slow breath, as slow as you can comfortably breathe without becoming air hungry. So breathe in, belly relaxes out, chest rises. Exhale, the belly relaxes back in, chest lowers. You can imagine you're breathing all the way into your pelvis for the first third of the breath, the belly with the second third of the breath, and then your lungs with the last third of the breath, and then exhaling in the reverse order from top, middle, bottom. Now obviously our lungs don't go to our belly and pelvis, but the pressure from our breath does go down into our belly and pelvis, so you can feel that pressure of your breath. And then notice the ratio of your inhale to exhale. For now, we're going to increase our exhale to be somewhat longer than our inhale if it's not already there. So you might count your next inhale, and if it counts maybe to a count of maybe 4 or 5 on the inhale, then make the exhale go a little bit longer, perhaps to a 6 or 7 or 8. This is a very relaxing parasympathetic breath. It calms down the nervous system. If you're not congested, breathe through your nose in yoga. If you have nasal congestion, then you can breathe through your mouth. And then just pause in silence for a few breaths. Notice how you feel just with that breath alone. Keep your posture slouched. Lengthen your posture up again. Lengthen your spine. Relax your tongue, your jaw, and your eyeballs. Just relax. Do one more breath in and out. If you want to make a little intention for your practice, something you want to work on, something that's good for you, either here in your class or elsewhere in your day, you can make an intention now. And we'll let our hands drift to our thighs, either palms up or palms down. And gently open the eyes. Good. now we're going to start with warming up. So again, be aware of the fact in our culture, so many of us have this, they call it text neck now, but we have this crane neck where we dropped our neck forward, and then in order to see up here, we tighten these back muscles around the back of our neck. Our shoulders rounded forward, and we've lost our nice spine, nice curve of our spine that we're supposed to have in our low back. So think about, first of all, lifting the chest, lifting the spine, elongating it, taking the shoulder blades down towards your waist, and getting your abs to help lengthen your spine. And then again, ideally the ear, the shoulder, and the hip are in one long line with the chest towards the chin. So try to keep that posture as much as you can, and we'll go ahead and start with our warm-up. So we're just going to start with our neck first. Go ahead and drop the right ear to the right shoulder. And inhale back up, and then exhale the other way. Exhale, left ear to left shoulder. Nice and slow. Inhale back up. So we let the breath guide our movement. Exhale first direction. So as slow as you can comfortably breathe, that's the rate you should be moving. Inhale back up, exhale second direction. So you don't have to stay with my breath cues. You can breathe however comfortable is good for you, and we'll stop and we'll wait for everybody to catch up at certain points. Just do one more each side or until you're evened up. And let that neck stretch. And we'll meet just facing straight forward. Now we're going to rotate the cervical spine. So rotate, look over your right shoulder. And then as you inhale, look back to the center. And as you exhale, look over your left shoulder. So I'm going to mirror you. If it looks like I'm doing the opposite of somebody, it's because I'm mirroring you. Inhale back to the front and center. Exhale, look over your blind spot. Press those shoulder blades down, lift the spine. Inhale to the center. Exhale, second side. And one more each side. Remember to keep that breath going. And we'll be facing front and center. So we're going to drop our chin to our chest now. So tuck that chin to your chest. We're going to imagine that we're going to draw a little smiley face on our chin. So try and keep that chin tucked a little bit. We're going to draw the half a smile over to the right collarbone. And then drop the chin back down to your chest again. And then draw a little half smiley face over to the opposite collarbone. And then drop it to the center. We're just going to go back and forth, drawing that little smiley face. So you just use your breath. Pause on the inhale is your pause by the collarbone, and exhale, switch to the other side if that feels good to you. Or breathe however is comfortable. Let's do one more smiley face. And chin in the center of our chest. We'll go ahead and look forward. Great job. We're going to start with our shoulder warm-ups. So let's set the right shoulder straight up, palm facing forward. And then exhale it right back down again. And we'll switch sides. Inhale the left arm, palm forward. Exhale it back down. So back and forth, depending on your range of motion. If you have a cranky shoulder, this hand might be way in front of your body. If you have a flexible shoulder, it might be way behind you. So go ahead and switch back and forth. Also, as you bring it back down, you might start to reach back towards that chair behind you. And then we have a bigger arc that we're coming forward and back on. So switch sides each time. Inhaling up. Exhaling down. And if it feels good to you, you can do both arms at the same time. So inhaling both arms forward. Nice and tall. Exhale. Don't round your chest. Keep your chest lifted. Inhale both arms. Exhale back down one more time. Just getting the shoulders warmed up. Last time. We'll inhale. We're going to pause up. Bring our hands to face each other, the palms to face each other. If you can touch the opposite palm, go for it. If you can't, then I want you to bend your elbows and grab the opposite elbow. We're going to lengthen our spine. With our next exhale, we're going to exhale to the right. So exhale slightly to the right. Inhale back up. Exhale slightly to the left. So I'm showing you one variation with your elbows. It can be more in front of you if you have a cranky shoulder. Another variation is to keep one hand on the chair as you're leaning over, so that's an option. Another option is these ladies are doing, keep your hands in a prayer. Takes a little more back strength, so this one's the hardest of the three versions. Think about length. Think about you're leaning over a giant beach ball as you exhale to one side. So we're not just collapsing, we're lengthening. And last side. And then we'll drop those arms down. Hold on to the chair, the front part of the chair legs. And I want you to just pretend like you're going to pull your body down to the floor. So pull so your sitting bone is deeper into the chair. And then relax. And we're going to do the opposite. Take your hands to the chair, elbows kind of behind you, chest open, and push into the chair as if you're going to lift your bottom off the chair. It even can come up a little inch or two if you want to. So feel that length in the spine compared to the first thing we did. So keep this length in your spine throughout the class. Now drop your pelvis back down. Try to keep that length, but take the arms away. And we'll come to goalpost arms. So before we do this, I want you to, can you pull your shoulder blades up to your skull? Notice how she's hunching. I call that in the turtle shell. So try not to do that because that's a real tense, not good for our neck posture. So pull the shoulder blades down towards your waist. And then we're going to pretend like we're going to pull those shoulder blades in towards the spine. So go ahead and pull them in towards the spine. Breathe. Don't hold your breath. So we're working the muscles that pull the shoulder blade towards the spine, the middle trapezius, the rhomboids. Now we're going to do vice versa. We're going to bring the elbows together, the palms together. We're going to press the elbows, the heel of the hand, the knuckles, and the fingers tight into each other to pull the shoulder blades away from the spine. So now you're feeling a muscle here called serratus anterior, broadening those shoulder blades. They're both good muscles. We're just going to work both of them. So we're going back and forth between those two moves. As we inhale, we're coming to our open goalpost. Squeeze those shoulder blades together. As you exhale, come into your serratus. Inhale, open. So you can add a little back bend if you want and a little tuck. I'll show you sideways. As you exhale, a little bit of a round and tuck like a cat back. As you inhale, slide little gaze up. Exhale, starting to get those muscles in front and behind the spine engage. We'll do one more. And we'll meet with our hands in prayer. So that serratus muscle we don't work very much. We're going to do another little serratus move. So go ahead and open your elbows up, but keep your palms facing together and bring them to heart center. Keep squeezing. And then bring them back together, squeeze that elbow. By now this muscle may be getting a little sore and shaky. That's okay, it's good for it. So pull the elbows open. And then bring the elbows together. We're just kind of going up and down along that muscle. Helps with our posture. One more breath. Excellent job. And then we'll release those arms down. We're going to do something called blowing tree. So reach the right arm up. And then we'll take our left arm over here on this chair. That's similar to what we were doing before, but we're going to go faster. So exhale over towards the hand that's on the chair. Inhale back up, switching the arms. And exhale the second direction. Inhale, switch. Exhale, fold. So as you're doing this, you can add little extra things if you want. One is to press into that hand that's on the chair to push the opposite sitting bone deeper into the chair. And that helps intensify that stretch. So if you're pushing this hand, it pushes this sitting bone down more, helps you stretch a little bit more. If that bothers your shoulder, you can do all this stuff in front of your body. One more. Move on to something else. How do ladies do it okay? Good. Great job. And do a little wrist range of motion too. So show off your manicure. Good. And then show off your bling. Good. So manicure, bling, manicure, bling, manicure, bling. Good. Good. And then spread your fingers and then squeeze them together. So our hands, are so important to us. We need to keep them flexible too. And then last, we're going to do what's called pronation and supination. So bring your elbows to your waist and turn your palms up. Like supper, I need more supper, supination. And then rotate them so the palms face down. Maybe you can rotate so it goes a little bit past thumbs, past that neutral. Inhale, open them up. Exhale, rotate them down. So this is not really our shoulders doing this movement. This is a joint in our forearms doing this movement. Last time. Very good. We'll do a few more things for our upper shoulder blades and we'll move on to our back, which I know you're thinking this is supposed to be for your back, but you have to work everything. You have to work the stuff above the back, the stuff below the back. It's not just one part of your body. The body's all interconnected by fascia, connective tissue, the muscles all intercommunicate with each other. So you can't just divide it into a back problem. You have to kind of work everything. At least that's been my experience. So we're going to take our arms out front, or out to the side. We're going to drop the right one under the left. So I might look opposite you in the camera. Cross them as high up as you can. So if you can get them above the elbow, great. And then go into eagle arms. So the back of the hands come together. Some people are flexible enough they can reach around, grab the palm. So if you can, do it. And then press your elbows and the back of your hands into each other. Or if you're grabbing the palm, press the palms and the elbows into each other. Now if that's too hard for you, you might just get the backs of your hands together. Go ahead and press the back of your hands together. Sit tall. Getting that serraceous muscle again. It's called eagle arms. Relax it for a moment, but don't untwist. Now, if the right arm is on the bottom, I want you to take your right thigh, lift it up, and cross your leg. We're just going to do this with our legs crossed. So squeeze your elbows, your hands together, and if you can, kind of squeeze your thighs into each other too. So we're really kind of getting ourselves more in one little thin line down the middle of our body. And then slowly relax and unwind out of it. And we'll uncross our legs and we're going to switch sides. So if the right arm was on the bottom last time, left arm on the bottom. Whichever side you didn't do, backs of the hands together, maybe the palms. Squeeze the elbows into each other, squeeze the hands into each other. Breathe. This is really nice for really releasing tension in that upper part of your back. Relax for a moment. And then whichever arm's on bottom, take that leg, cross it on top, and do the squeeze again, this time adding the squeeze of your thighs. Squeeze your thighs together. So this can be done standing, but since this is a 30-minute video, we're just going to do the chair posture. And then soften the effort, unwind the arms, unwind the back. Very good. One more shoulder and neck thing. Take your right arm, palm forward, reach up, and pat yourself on the back. So again, if you have a cranky shoulder, this might be way out here, and that's fine. But if your shoulder is not cranky, then try to get that inside elbow right against your temple and keep looking forward. Then I'm going to ask you to lean forward, take your other arm and put it behind your back. So again, some people, and sit back up, some people might be way down low. Some people may be able to reach up and reach towards that opposite hand. It doesn't matter where it is, it matters what you're feeling. So go ahead and press the back of the bottom hand and the palm of the upper hand into your back. Press them into your back. Sit tall. Then bring your attention to your head. We're going to look away from this elbow that's up there by our temples. Look the opposite direction. Keep those shoulder blades towards the waist. Don't let them round up towards your skull. And then slightly tuck your chin towards your collarbone. Feel that release of your neck. The more you can push that shoulder blade away from your fingertips by pulling those muscles below it, the more you'll feel this stretch. And then lift the chin, look back front and center. We'll lean forward, let the back arm release, sit back up, let the front arm release, and just feel the difference in your two sides. So, in the time, I'm not building in very long pauses in this video, but ordinarily I like to give about a 10 to 20 second pause between the postures so you can feel what you just did. But we'll move on to the other side, so palm forward, reach up, pat yourself on the back, lean a little forward, get the other hand behind you, and then press the back of the lower hand, the fingertips of the upper hand into the back. Maybe if you can reach the opposite fingertips, awesome. You can pull against each other. Hold your breath. Try not to sway your back too much here. Keep your abs working. And then we'll look away from our upper arm and drop that chin down, stretch muscle levator scapulae, pulls the shoulder blade up to the skull. We put a lot of tension there and hold that tight in our text neck position that I was talking about. So we like to stretch that, let some of that tension go. Yoga is kind of magical because it can release the muscle tension, and that can in turn make us feel better mentally too. And then lift the chin, look forward. I like to lean forward to release the back arm, and then release the front arm and just pause. Great job. So we're going to move on to our spine. We did a little spinal rotation already when we went from side to side. Or lateral flexion, sorry. We're going to do a little rotation. So the spine is comprised of 7 cervical or neck vertebrae, 12 thoracic, the ones the ribs come off of, and 5 lumbar, the low back. So they all have their unique curves that are supposed to be there. When we twist the spine, it mainly comes from the thoracic area, the part the rib cage is attached to. So I kind of think of them as they're building blocks, and it's kind of like we're going to turn those building blocks into a spiral staircase or a DNA helix. So let's get our hands on our chairs again, so we can put a little bit of our body weight into the hands. So lengthen the spine. It's all about getting the spine long before we twist. So lengthen the spine, and as you inhale, let's keep our neck in line with our chest to begin with. As we inhale, we get long. As we exhale, we'll twist to the right. So start to twist your shoulder blades to the right. Keep your pelvis and your legs point forward. Inhale, get long. Exhale, twist to the right. So try not to let this hip come back with you. Keep your knees equal with each other. Inhale, get long. Exhale, twist a little more. And when you're at your maximum twist, look over your back shoulder. Breathe. Don't turtle shell. Hold the shoulder blades down. Use your abs to help you sit up straight. You can still push down into the chair, but I ask that you don't use the chair to make you twist more. Just downward action into the chair, because we want the muscles along the spine to produce the twist. Last breath. Keep your shoulders where they are, but turn your head and look forward. And then you can slowly untwist out. And notice the difference. So when we twist, we kind of squeeze the blood and stuff out of the muscle that we're twisting. When we untwist, it gets this nice release of energy. It feels really good. So we'll do that the other side. So inhale, get tall. Exhale, start to twist. Keep your neck in line. You can take your hands wherever you need them, depending on your flexibility. So if you need to bring your hands over to one side, you can. I usually take about 3 or 4 breaths to get my maximum twist. And then I look over the back shoulder. Keep the breath going. Try not to let the right thigh, or whichever way you're twisting towards, pull back in towards you. Keep those knees equal. Last breath. We'll keep the shoulders where they are. We'll turn and look forward. I like to start the untwist with my gaze and then come on out. Great job. So we did rotation, we did lateral flexion of the spine. We're going to do a little cat-cow, sitting cat-cow, which is flexion and extension. So take your hands to your knees. The further you are towards the edge of your chair, the more work you're going to put into it. If you're tired, you can bring your back against the back of the chair, but it's a little bit less work for you. So just kind of pick your spot that's comfortable for you. As we exhale, we're going to bring our belly button to the spine, our chin to the chest, and we're going to round our back. We can let that waist push back towards the back of the chair. And as we inhale, we're going to go vice versa. So pull onto your knees with your hands and bring your chest forward, and you can even lean forward a little bit if you want, and sway the back. Neck in a comfortable position for you, so don't really crane it so the neck hurts, just comfortable. Exhale, round and tuck, and you can get a little rocking motion going if you want. Inhale, chest forward, leaning forward. Excellent. My 2 lovely students here are doing a fabulous job, so use your own breath to go back and forth at your rate. When you're inhaling, pull those shoulder blades towards the spine, like when we're in the goalpost like this. When you exhale, let them pull away from the spine, like when we were doing this part. So those muscles should be working too, between moving your shoulder blades in and out. We'll do one more. And then we're going to sit straight upright. Very good. So our hip joint, and by hip joint I mean ball and socket joint. Usually when you have hip pain, it's right in your groin. Our back, a lot of people call those the hips, but doctors usually don't call them that. That's the sacroiliac joint, the sciatica area, the buttock area, whatever you want to call it. We're going to work on our hips a little bit now. We'll come back to our back. So we're going to flex our hips. So take your hand under your thigh and just lift that leg up. That's going to be our exhale. Our inhale is going to be putting it right back down. And we'll switch sides. Exhale, opposite leg up. Sit up nice and straight. We're not rounding our back here. Exhale, back down. So you can stay with this variation, or maybe you can grab this shin. If you have that flexibility, you can grab this shin instead of the back of the thigh. Very good. Excellent. Alterations. Nice job. If you are pretty active, you could do this standing. I don't know if you want to demonstrate standing. It takes a little more balance, and it's definitely harder, but you're welcome to come to standing. But don't do that if you have any type of balance issues, because that introduces a whole new aspect to the yoga. You do it holding onto the chair if you want to do it standing. So all these postures you can kind of mess with and experiment with and do to make it feel good to you. Great job. We'll do one more and then we'll pause. Good job. So flexion. And then we're going to do a little extension of the hip. It's hard in a chair because of the position we're in. We're going to take our hands to the back of the chair. Pull your elbows towards each other. Rainbow your chest. And then just start to lean into those hands, and maybe you can lift your pelvis up. Maybe you can kind of push it away from you. Nice job. Drop it back down. Exhale back down. If this is uncomfortable for you, you feel like you might fall, just pass on this one. Go back to what we were just doing. We're going to inhale, lift the pelvis up. Exhale, drop it back down. So back and forth at your breath rate. And one more. Let's hold this one. Keep your breath going. Hold it, hold it, hold it. See if you can push into your feet and pretend like you're going to drag your feet towards the chair, even though they don't move. That gets your hamstrings really activated. Nice job. Last breath. And then go ahead and drop it down. Excellent. So now we're going to stretch our hamstrings. Our hamstrings bend our knees. Now we're going to do a straight right leg. And just while we're here, let's just point and flex the ankle 2 or 3 times to kind of give us a little ankle love going on. Excellent. And then stop with your foot in a comfortable position. I usually like to pull the toes up towards me and push out through the heel. That tightens up your quads, which stretches your hamstrings better. So if you need to point your foot, that's fine, but you might try it the opposite way. So remember what we were doing before. We lifted the bent knee up. Now we're going to try to lift this leg up a little bit straighter. It's going to be harder. Get to the edge of your chair. Take your hands under that thigh, engage your abs, lift that leg. If that hurts your back, I want you to go back to that bent knee version. Exhale it back down. We're going to straighten out the other leg. We'll go ahead and alternate legs. So lift the leg up. If you want to point and flex your ankle while we're doing that, you can, because we kind of left that ankle out. Exhale, lift. Inhale back down. You can keep your hands on the chair if that feels better to you. It makes the quads work a little harder. Or maybe you don't need arms. Not using any arms at all is hardest, so whatever feels good to you. Let's do one more each side. And then we'll stop. We're going to leave our other leg out straight, the one we did not start with, and point and flex that ankle since I lifted it out the first time. Great. Going back up to our hip joints. The knees really only go forward and back. They have a little bit of twisting, but it's kind of not really something we want to have happen very much. So we're going to go back up to our ball and socket joints, our hip joints. So walk your feet wide and come to an unladylike position, as I call it in my yoga classes. So this is a variation of what's called bound angle or Baddha Konasana. So we're stretching the inside of our thighs. To help us do that, our glutes are helping pull us into this direction. So you might kind of feel your glutes working a little bit to get in this position. We're going to work both the inside and the outside of our hips. So take your hands to the inside of your thighs or knees. Try to close the book. Try to bring the knees together. The arms won't let them come. Sit up straight. Get your abs working to help your spine be nice and straight and tall. Breathe. A little shaking's okay here. Building up strength. And then relax. And we'll take our hands to the outside of the thighs. We're going to do vice versa. We're going to try to open them up more. You'll feel your glutes back here engaging. So try to open the knees up wider, straddle wider. The arms resist. So we're strengthening and stretching alternately. We're also getting a little arm workout while we're doing it. We're going back and forth with our breath. So let's do the inhale. We try to close our legs. Hands come to the inside of the thighs. The exhale, we try to open our legs and hands come to the outside of our thighs. Back and forth at your breath rate. If you want to slow it down and not do it with every breath, that's perfectly fine. It's your practice, not mine. One more time. And then we'll pause, but keep our legs in this position. Now see if maybe you can walk a little bit wider after doing that. And you're a little more open in that stretch. If you squeeze the glutes together, they'll open just a tiny bit longer, stretching those inside thigh muscles. Very good. Then we're going to walk them about halfway shut. You get to do forward folds, which feel good. These are really nice for your back. I do want you to keep your hands on your thighs, please. So hands or elbows on your thighs. We're just going to start to lean forward. Actually, pause for a minute. So the common thing I see on forward folds is people just round from the spine and they don't let their pelvis tilt at all. It's real important to learn to tilt the pelvis. So before you go to forward fold, take your hands to your hips. Feel those little bones kind of underneath your index finger, and then under your thumbs, kind of where those cute little dimples are, the sensible one. So we're going to try to tilt the pelvis forward. So what I'd say is the thumbs are over those dimples, kind of push into the dimples, push up, lift your thumbs up and squeeze the skin up, and then push forward. And the whole pelvis tilts. You can keep your back even flat for now. Inhale back up. Very good. So we're just doing a pelvic tilt. Exhale forward. In my mind, this is the first half of a complete forward fold. My forward fold is when we try to reach down and touch our toes. But getting that pelvic tilt in there is really important for the health of our back and our pelvis. Good job. Next time we're forward, we're going to pause. And then hands on the hip, on the thighs. We're going to let our back round. Now we let the back round, let the hip angle. See if you can let where the baby's soft spot just drop to the floor. So it's hard to do. See if you can let your neck relax even more. Yes. Yes. This is a very relaxing posture to come to anytime you need a little break in the day. Keeping your hands on your legs to help you come up. We're going to, first of all, kind of straighten the spine. So we're back in our halfway forward fold. And then we let the whole back up. So coming up is just as important as going down. We're going to go back and forth all the way down, all the way up a few times. So go nice and slow. Keep your hands on your thighs. We're going to exhale, pelvic tilt starts, and then the back rounds, the head dangles. You can stay there for a full breath, or you can come right back up with your next inhale. So first the neck lifts, and then the spine unrounds, and then your pelvis untilts. So just go back and forth at your breath rate. Pelvis tilts first, spine rounds, neck releases. Neck comes back up, spine unrounds, and pelvis comes back to neutral. Let's do one more time. Exhale forward. Inhale up. Excellent job. And we'll do another posture by time for it. Should we pay attention to what time we started? We're doing okay? Good. Okay, great. So bring your legs back together. And if you can, take your right ankle and cross it over your left thigh and let this butterfly open. If that's too intense for you, you have arthritis in your hip, I want you to straighten this other leg out and just put it over your ankle, like that, over your shin. So first I want you to be aware of the fact that some people this bothers their knee. So if it twists your knee, I want you to do this version. Another thing you can do is what's called everting the ankle to keep the knee from getting twisted. So what that means, you pull the outside of this foot up as far as you can towards the outside of the shin. Pull that foot up, make it tight. All these muscles here are tight. That protects your knee. There's a little fascial connection there. It'll keep the knee from getting twisted. So whenever I'm doing kind of a posture, it might twist my knee, I like to evert the ankle. Pull the outside in, push the arch away from you. Good job. And then, this feels really good. We're just doing our pelvic tilt first. Pelvic tilt forward, come back up. This really stretches that sacroiliac joint. We're finally to the part where most people have problems with the part of their back that's the sacroiliac area. There's various things that can cause sciatica, but one of them is piriformis syndrome, which is a muscle that lives in that area. It's kind of a common cause. Another muscle, quadratus lumborum, can be tight. Sometimes you have actual arthritis, but this is really nice for your back. And then next time we come forward, we're just going to hold it. Take your hands wherever you need them. Maybe you can let your back rest further down on your thigh. Maybe you can let your head drop somewhere. Let the arms just go to a comfortable place for them. Feel that stretch on the bent knees, buttock area. Let it relax. Imagine you can breathe into that part that's tight, and with each exhale, some of that tension releases. So you breathe oxygen into the place that's tight. With the exhale, you let the tension dissolve. And actually, that's kind of what our breath does. Our breath takes away waste products from the muscles and all the organs, the whole body. We exhale out that carbon dioxide, which is just a normal waste product we produce. Take the oxygen to the cells, and then the blood carries up the carbon dioxide away. So the inhale is energizing, the exhale is purifying. Breath, very important in yoga. 2 more breaths here. And then we're going to think about coming out of this slowly, carefully. First of all, bring your hands back up to your thighs. Lift your head, your neck, and then unround your back, and then push yourself back up. And then cross your legs and just pause for a moment and feel the difference. You should feel a big flush of sensation. So just absorb that. And then we'll switch sides. So opposite ankle over the shin, forward the thigh. To protect this knee, pull the outside of the foot up really extremely towards the outside of the shin. Push away the arch, pull the outside of the foot up towards you. And sit nice and tall. And then when you're ready, we'll tilt our pelvis forward. Keeping your hands to help support yourself. And when you feel like you're ready, I usually like to wait a couple breaths, but whenever you feel like you're ready, you can come more forward and just let gravity take over the posture. Remember your breath. Breathe into the place that's tight and let it relax a little with each exhale. Thinking of if anybody's had a recent hip replacement, they should locate everything with their doctor before they do certain positions of the hip. So it depends on which type of surgery you had. You should always check with your doctor before starting something new as far as yoga or any other exercise program for that matter. And then we're going to come out of it slowly, so hands to the thighs first. Lift the neck second, round the back third, and then tilt the pelvis fourth. And we'll pause for just a moment. And when you're ready, uncross. And just relax, absorb what you've created. One of the things I like to say in the classes are the nerves run both ways. So the nerves from our brain and spinal cord go out to boss our muscles around, do this, do that. The same nerves also carry the impulses back up from the muscles, the fascia, the joints, the skin, back up to the spinal cord, to the brain, in order to give us sensation. So the sensation is kind of like the jacuzzi. After doing the work, stop and enjoy that jacuzzi. It helps build that mind-body connection that's so important in yoga. And we're going to go ahead and scooch back further towards the back of the chair. Still try to sit up nice and straight, but we're ready for our more relaxation part of the practice. Before we get too comfy, I'm going to ask you to grab the back of the chair and pull your shoulder blades towards each other, round your, or rainbow your chest, and just slightly lean forward. Gravity kind of pull you forward. The arms resist. So a little back extension after our forward folds. And then come back up. We'll do a spinal twist. So take your arms up and then reach them over to the right side of your chair. Don't put any pressure in your hands, just twist. This is really good for our disc spaces between our vertebrae. The discs are kind of like shock absorbers, and they're filled with this kind of gelatinous material. You want it to stay nice and kind of fluidy. You don't want to get dried out like old Elmer's glue, so twists are really good for our spine. We're going to go ahead and start to lift the arms back up, untwist to the middle, and when you're ready, go to the other side. So remember, the hands don't produce the twist. The muscles along the spine do. The hands are just there for a little help. And then we'll start to inhale the arms up. Exhale. Drop them down to your thighs. So you have the choice here of hands up or hands down. Hands down are kind of more grounding, kind of feels safer in a way. Hands up, kind of more open to receive whatever sensations or thoughts may be coming. Make sure your feet are right under your knees, and try not to slouch into your chair. Even though the back is back there for help, try to sit up nice and straight. So once again, ears, shoulders, hip joints, hopefully in one line. Close the eyes down. Let the eyes just fall back down into the sockets. Let your teeth slightly separate. The jaw relax. Just the jaw between the teeth, but up along your temple. Whole jaw muscle, let it relax. See if you can let your tongue relax and get thin and flat like a dog's tongue. Bring your awareness to your ears on the side of your scalp. Imagine they are broadening away from each other. Even imagine your ear canals magically interconnect with each other inside your head, so your head feels light and airy. Any other place that feels tight, breathe into that area and let that tension dissolve. Your breath be natural here. We'll have a few moments of silence. This is our meditative portion of yoga class, actually the most important part. We work the body-mind connection. Really, yoga is about trying to get us connected to our spiritual component. It's not a religion. Whatever religion you are, you can still do yoga. This is your time for prayer, meditation, whatever you want to call it. Let that awareness go deeper. Try to focus on the source of the awareness itself. current. You're an eagle spreading its wings, floating on a current of air. Gradually start to deepen your breath. Imagine sending your breath to your fingertips and the tips of your toes. As you're doing that, lightly rub your thumb against each fingertip, welcoming that beautiful sensation back to our body. Wonderful gifts we were given. Here to send gratitude to your body for all it does for you. And then you go ahead and maybe roll your wrists, or when you flex your ankles, start to make some little movements, maybe tuck your chin. Perhaps it feel good to your neck to look over one shoulder and then the other. Wake the body back up. Maybe one ear, one shoulder, tilting that neck from side to side like we did at the beginning. Full circle. And when you're ready, pause your movements and flutter open your eyes. Hands to heart center. So I encourage you to incorporate some type of quiet time in your day, some type of meditation component. It's very important. Studies have shown lots of benefits from meditation alone. The physical part of yoga is great. Also been shown lots of benefits. Gets the cortisol level down, helps the stress levels, great for orthopedic issues, muscle toning and strength and balance. It's good for the lungs because of the breath. Anxiety, depression, but meditation alone has also been found to help with lots of different things. So I really encourage you to try to find at least 5 minutes a day to sit in stillness and silence, without a phone, without a TV, without a radio. And if you can do that for at least 5 minutes a day, ideally first thing in the morning before your day has gotten kind of tired, but it could be any time during the day. You're going to find that that's very powerful. That 5 minutes might switch to a little bit longer, and you find that your day and your weeks will start going better. So yoga originated in India. Like I mentioned, it's not a religion, but some of the terms are rooted in Sanskrit language from India. And usually we close our class with a word that's namaste, and namaste roughly translates to the spirit or light in me honors and greets the spirit or light in you. So I ask each class by turning to a neighbor and saying namaste. 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 Thank you.